So as a proud Chicagoan, I am particularly happy to be in this room. I live in Cleveland, but my whole family lives here, so I claim Chicago. So thank you, Tim. Thank you, Tracy, Stacy, all the people who planned this event today. I'm Dale Anglin. I represent Press Forward National, and we are a big tent these days, and we're getting bigger, and it's so exciting. I'm so proud of this particular Press Forward Chicago and our Springfield chapters. You are leading the way. We have some other chapters here today. They are talking all the time. I tell people when you join Press Forward in any way, you learn fast, you fail fast, you share fast. Because we're operating on shifting sands. And so we have to share with each other across the country what we're learning very quickly so that we can not do the wrong thing and do the right thing next door. Tim showed us something that's important. He showed us what we've lost, and he talked a little bit about the bright spots, and I want to focus on that. I want to start with a different focus, that local news is not dying, it is majorly transforming. And that transformation, especially at this scale, it's not neat. It's not easy. It's not evenly distributed. And it can feel really hard. And for many of you, the journalists in the room in particular, doing this work every day, it can feel lonely. And so I say to the journalists in the room today, thank you so much for your service. And I want you to know that you're not doing this alone. There is a growing coalition behind you, a growing coalition of journalists, funders, civic leaders who believe and understand now that strong communities depend on strong local news, and they're choosing to act on that belief. We are all part of co-creating the new. At Press Forward, we are helping to build and connect with that growing coalition, and we're recruiting people into that coalition, and we're seeing real momentum. Our network has now moved more than $400 million into local news in 2 years, half of it into newsrooms directly, other half into organizations that re-grant to newsrooms. We've grown fivefold from an initial 22 donors who started us to more than 130 funders just in 2 years. And we know, I want you to understand about these funders. They do not always see themselves as journalism funders to this day, even though they've joined Press Forward. They are climate funders or kid funders or economic development funders. But what they understand is that news is incredibly important as a tool for any other philanthropic strategy that you have. If people don't know what's happening or the changes you're trying to invest in, it won't matter. And we also know that this work could not be top down from national foundations. We had to be rooted in communities. So we built a network of Press Forward chapters. They are cross-sector tables sitting within geographies, thinking broadly about how to support the whole ecosystem, not just one necessarily outlet. We now are actually up to 45 chapters in 35 states. 70% of the states in this country now have a chapter. That is what I would call more than scale. We're building a new system, a new infrastructure that's starting to come back to life to support this work. But what matters most is what this looks like on the ground, and let me help you paint that picture, although some of you know that as you've been watching Press Forward Chicago. Now, you had this issue last year, but most recently in Minnesota, when a wave of ICE raids triggered protests and unrest, local newsrooms were suddenly at the center of a fast-moving, high-stakes story. We all got to witness this. Those journalists needed more time, the state needed more reporting, and the journalists in particular and the community needed more care. But they did not always have the resources to meet that moment. The Press Forward Minnesota chapter raised within a few weeks $700,000 in rapid response funding for newsrooms. Journalists could stay on the story, and they got it out the door very quickly. Journalists could stay on the story, they could serve their communities, they could do their job safely. You all did this last year with Chicago. You guys raised a lot of money to support immigration reporters in a short amount of time. That is what they're not always built for crisis, I will say that. We're trying to build for being proactive, but right now they are also built for crisis. That kind of response was not possible a few years ago. Lastly, in closing, I just want to say revitalizing local news will only happen if we all work together. There is no one newsroom, there is no one foundation, there is no one government that can fix this alone. This is one of those things that requires us working together and in deep conversation with each other. And everyone has a role to play. Funders need to see local news as a public good that needs investment no matter what strategy they normally support. And let me be clear, on the funding side, you have to fund both on the reporter side and on the business side. We have to have sustainable outlets. It's not just about the reporting, it's both. Journalists need to be deeply rooted in community and really deeply understand their audience, and whatever it takes for us to help you get there, let's do that. Government officials need to see funding local news as a civic infrastructure essential to the future of our country. Because the truth is, whatever you care about, education, health, climate, economic opportunity, none of it works if people do not have access to trusted local information. Local news is the connective tissue. It's how communities understand what's happening. It's how they know each other. It's how they hold leaders accountable. It is how they decide what to do next. That is why this moment matters. Thank you for joining us in this moment. We're so proud to be representing Press Forward National, and we are with you all the way.